So I started working for the carpet cleaning business. I worked as a subcontractor. I worked dyeing carpet, and at the ripe old age of 22, I became the manager of the company in Columbus because my dad was tired of it and he wanted to retire. He also wanted to play down in Florida because he had a boat in Florida. So I ran that company from 1979 until 1984. What happened was in 1983, my dad got tired of being retired and came back to the business. One thing I learned at that time was you can't have more than one boss. And if the people in charge don't see eye to eye, there are always going to be problems. So in 1984, or maybe it was 85, I left Dad's company and started my own business. There's a department store in Columbus called Lazarus. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Lazarus. They had a cleaning division. I had just landed that account about 6 months before things blew up. And when I told Dad I was leaving, he said, well, why don't you just go ahead and take the Lazarus account? It really wasn't something I wanted anyway. So go ahead and take the Lazarus account, which I did. And so I started a carpet cleaning business. Did Lazarus work, and then Lazarus decided to get out of the carpet cleaning business. So I had to start my own company, which I then did in about 1986. At the same time, or actually a little bit before this, before I left Downey's, a trade association started in Ohio called the UCCI, United Carpet Cleaners Institute. Past president is in the back of the room. I'm a past president myself. It was formed at the time, well, there's a lot of people who have been around a long time. You remember when Stainmaster came out and there was a big controversy, and Stanley Steamer was the anointed cleaning company for Stainmaster carpet, and everybody got up in arms and excited. Well, that was what caused, I think more than anything else, the UCCI to get started. I was the association's first vice president, and according to the bylaws, the vice president's job was to publish the association newsletter. So I did that. Bear in mind, I had no experience in publishing. I did not go to college. Later I took some courses because I figured I was going to grow up and I was going to take over the business and that would be it. So I had no idea what I was going to do. Actually, I had every idea what I was going to do. I had no idea what I was in for. I get ahead of my brain gets ahead of my mouth sometimes. The association newsletter that I published, the board of directors decided they kind of liked what I did, so they gave me more money and said, go ahead and expand it. So I expanded it. And they liked it, and they said, we really like this thing. Is there any way that you could make it make sense financially? So I started selling advertising for it. And we extended the circulation from just Ohio into Michigan, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Kentucky, maybe even Illinois. And we, at some point, 1986, 87, we changed the name from the UCCI newsletter to, Doyle, do you remember this? Cleaning Scene. And I think we published one issue of what was then a magazine as Cleaning Scene, and I got a phone call from Doyle Bloss who said, I really like your magazine and really support it, but we have a company newsletter that we've been publishing for a long time called The Clean Scene. Do I have that right, Doyle? Could you maybe go with another name? So I said, sure, Doyle. He was an advertiser, so I wasn't going to give him a hard time. Don Douglas, who nobody knows, and I sat around brainstormed one day for different ideas for names, and we finally came up with Cleanfax. And Cleanfax, we were concerned that people would think, because it's FAX, it would be perceived as something for fax machines. But I thought it was pretty clever, so we went with Cleanfax. And Cleanfax was then born. Now, the first year Cleanfax was published as a magazine, It was done under the auspices of the UCCI, but it was losing money because you can't publish a magazine with limited distribution with the kind of advertising revenue you can get for that limited distribution and not have it make money. It was losing money. So I went to the board with an idea to take the magazine national and for the UCCI and other regional trade associations to sponsor regional editions of Cleanfax. And the board of directors of the UCCI said, that's fine, Downey, go for it. So I did that, and Cleanfax was born as kind of my baby or my magazine in 1989.